First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for being here. I know that we have a couple of breakout sessions going on, so thank you for being here with us today. Now, since I don't know too many of you here, I would love to introduce myself just a little bit further. My name is Jean Soto. I am currently the Director of Operations for the Ladies of Liberty Alliance, LOLA, and today we are going to be talking about how to get new women into libertarian ideas. No easy task, but that is what we are going to be focusing on today. Now, I have been with LOLA for the past 6 years now, and overall, I have been working in the liberty movement for over 10 years now. Now, whenever I say this, people tend to get very, very curious about my age. So in case you were curious too, I just turned 20, 10 years ago, but I just turned 20. Now, originally, I was introduced into libertarian ideas as a teenager, actually here in the Orlando area. I was attending Valencia College, and I was a business major at that time, and I was required to take my first macroeconomics course. Now, little did I know that I would be stepping into a classroom where my professor was what I would describe as a hardcore libertarian. Now, at 18 years old, I had no idea what a libertarian was, had no idea what libertarianism was all about, but I would soon find out. Now, my professor centered his course around three main things: individual liberty, limited government, and free markets. And let me tell you, I fell in love with these ideas. I grew infatuated over studying that there were unintended consequences for government intervention today in our economy, and how politicians, public policy, rules, and laws can have the best sounding intentions, but intentions do not equal results and oftentimes leave us worse off than before. I love studying how economics and liberty go hand in hand. Now, I loved this class, but there was just one tiny problem that I was facing. And that problem was the class had something like a 30% passing rate. And I naively thought that I would beat those odds. So when I took the class for the first time, I failed it. But since I was so connected to these ideas, I made a promise with myself. And that promise was that if I were to take the class and pass it again, that I would make this my major, my future, my career, that I would dedicate my life to these ideas. So I took the class again, passed it, and asked the professor, where do I go to continue studying free market economics? And that's when he sent me up to George Mason University up in the DC area. And for those of you unfamiliar with GMU, they have the most free market-oriented faculty anywhere in the world. So that is where I continued my education, and that's where I got my degree in economics. Now, shortly after graduating is when I found LOLA. Now, LOLA was established in 2009, and our mission is to educate and empower women in the liberty movement. We train and empower libertarian women who are activists and advocates for the ideas of liberty so that they, in turn, can go back home to their cities and teach these ideas to new women. Now, LOLA has grown quite a bit in the past couple of years. I started with LOLA in 2017, and at that time we were only in 2 countries, the United States and Israel. And I am so happy to say that today we are in over 33 countries, still growing like crazy. We have chapters throughout South Asia. We are just launching chapters this year in Europe. We just launched chapters in Georgia, Germany, and also in Poland, and more to come, which we are very excited about. We have chapters throughout Africa, across the US, and Latin America is just booming right now for us. Now, all of these stars that you see on the map here today, I don't want this to be impersonal for you guys. These stars represent individual libertarian women working hard to fight against socialist ideas. And oftentimes, as you see on this map, they're fighting against socialist ideas in socialist countries. These women are literally my inspiration, and they give me hope that the message of liberty lives on today. Now, over my past 6 years, I have learned a lot with Lola. I've had this amazing opportunity to work one-on-one with these women and really understand what is going on in their efforts today. I've been able to work with incredible, strong, and inspiring libertarian women across the globe, and it's because of their amazing work that it has helped me understand what it takes to bring new women into these ideas. Now, that's my goal with you all here today. I want to help you guys understand what it takes. And the second part of this is I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to hear from you how we can work on messaging our ideas in a way that is more attractive and compelling to women. Now, the two most common questions I get at Lola are, why is there a shortage of women? Why are there so few libertarian women? And the second part of this question is, how do we get new women into these ideas? Now, in order to help people understand the answers to these questions, I break it down into two parts for them. The first part is understanding what's happening on the inside. What is the current culture for women today that is contributing to the shortage of us? The second part is understanding what is happening on the outside. What is keeping new women from coming into these ideas today? Now, when we look on the inside, we find that libertarian women feel alone. In fact, research shows us that libertarian women feel alone in their political philosophy more than any other. Now, in order to understand why this is and what is contributing to women feeling alone, I would love to share experiences and voice some of the concerns of libertarian women today. And these experiences and concerns are coming from different women from different backgrounds, ages, and life stages. But we have noticed that there are common things that are reoccurring in the movement for them today. Now, what we often hear from women is that they are so pumped up and excited about these ideas. They are ready to change the world, but they go to their first liberty-minded conference or major event and find that they are one of the few women in attendance. This contributes to them feeling alone. Other women have explained to us different situations of being talked over, not taken seriously, or even ignored by their own male peers in the movement. Other women share with us that they're lacking confidence and skills, that they're looking to be invested in, and they're looking for training opportunities so that they can learn how to communicate these ideas to friends and family around them. Other women share with us the occasional sexist remarks or comments that they get. We've heard everything under the sun at this point. We've heard sandwich jokes where the role of a woman in the liberty movement is to go ahead and make a man a sandwich. Jokes like these are not helpful from our peers. And the worst of all evils is when we hear from women who have experienced sexual harassment and assault by their own peers in the liberty movement. By their own peers who are supposed to uphold an ideology based on personal liberty, non-aggression, and consent. Now, Everything that I just mentioned is contributing to the overall culture for women in the liberty movement today. I'm not saying that every woman faces every single one of these issues, but that these are the most common things that we are hearing from them. Now, I bring this up because I get asked all the time, how do we get new women in? How do we get new women in? But before we even talk about getting new women into these ideas, we have to take care of and address the concerns of women who are currently here with us to begin with. There are already so few libertarian women in this world, but those of us that are already here, we have to take care of first. Now, if we don't address the issues that is leading to the culture today, it will lead to two problems. The first is this culture is not going to convince women to stay. And the second is we cannot expect to bring new women into an environment or community that already does not feel safe or welcoming towards women. And as a result of this, libertarian women are craving an all-women space where they can thrive. They are craving a community of like-minded women where they can grow. And this is exactly where Lola comes in. Lola has been slowly changing the culture for women so they no longer feel alone and instead are equipped and empowered. Now, moving on to the second part of our question here today, what is keeping new women from entering these ideas? The simplest way to break this down for you is that socialist ideas are attractive to women. Now, don't get me wrong. Socialist ideas are very attractive to people in general, but they are especially attractive among women today. Now, recent polls show us that 55% of women between the ages of 18 and 54, 55% of them say they would prefer to live in a socialist system over a capitalist one. And when we look at where most of the women are on the political spectrum, we know where they are. They are on the left. Now, why? What is it about socialist ideas that keep women engaged in them? Now, we're going to use some economic analysis to understand the reasons for this. Now, in economics, there are two ways of looking at the world around us and examining economic activity around us. The first way is something called normative economics or normative analysis, what I like to call the normie way of thinking. Now, normative economics is a way of analyzing the world around us using our values, our opinions, our personal judgments. It's a way of looking at the world around us based on what should be or what ought to be, or what is fair and what is not fair. It is subjective in nature. Now, positive economics, on the other hand, does not mean that it is all good news all of the time. As we all know, economists are notorious for delivering bad news all the time about the economy. Instead, positive economics is a way of analyzing the world around us based on testable theories, based on cause and effect relationships that can be proven to be true or to be false. For example, if we do A, then B will follow. Now, using positive economics, it doesn't mean that we don't have morals or values, but that in order to address the world's problems around us, we have to put feelings and emotions aside to not cloud our ability to effectively address the issues that we care deeply about. Now, when we look at these two ways of thinking, I would argue that libertarians know how to use positive economics. On the other hand, popular opinion is rooted in normative analysis. Let's go over some popular examples of how people are using normative analysis over positive analysis today. Now, on the normative side, you would hear something like, it's not fair that these rich billionaires are raking in billions in profit. Meanwhile, they're only paying their workers $12 an hour. We should tax the rich more. Now, the positive way of looking at this same scenario is, well, if we raise taxes on the rich, then the overall economic productivity will fall. Another example is, it's not fair that these greedy oil companies get to charge whatever price they want at the gas pump. We should put a price cap on how much profit they are allowed to make. Now, positive economics, on the other hand, would look at the same scenario and say, if we set price caps below market equilibrium in the oil market, then we will see massive shortages according to the laws of supply and demand. Now, I'm using these two economic terms to show us that it all starts with the way that we are taught to think about the world around us. This is exactly what we see in socialist countries. It all starts with shaping economic policy based on what is fair, based on what ought to be. You are poor because someone else is rich. Their gain is your loss. So trust us, the government, and we will make it fair for you. And it always ends in suppressing competition, eliminating the price system, redistributing wealth, and running out of other people's money, leading to an economic crisis like we are seeing today in Venezuela. This is why socialist ideas are compelling to people, especially among women, because socialism is represented as the economics of compassion, and capitalism is represented as the economics of greed and selfishness. Both economic systems want to address the same problems, but they yield entirely opposite results. Now, this is the sad reality, but this is our reality. And since the normative way of thinking is so popular among people today, especially women, then we have to talk about what it is going to take to get new women into the ideas of liberty instead. I would love to talk to you guys about our role in delivering the message of liberty today. Now, I won't be the first person to say this, and certainly not the last, but we as libertarians have quite a bit of work to do when it comes to communicating our ideas to the public, to the average person. Now, one of my favorite liberty figures, Gloria Alvarez, for those of you who may not know her, she's a libertarian Guatemalan political scientist. She's also on Lola's advisory board. But she recently gave a talk saying that recent neuroscience studies show us that when you're teaching a new idea to someone, if that idea is not attached with feelings and passion, that idea won't stick. That if we only focus on the facts and the hard data when teaching our ideas, we are not going to win new people over. And when she gave this talk, I was like, exactly. This is what Lola has been saying this whole time. that we need to work on our messaging, our tone, our empathy in order to communicate and market these ideas in a way that is compelling to new people. Us as libertarians need to do a better job at showing that our ideas are not only right based on the academics, economics, the hard data, and the statistics, but because our ideas can win the moral debate as well. That is why at Lola, we believe things like having compassion and empathy and patience with people are key to presenting the message of liberty effectively. I would further add that we have to learn from the left. We obviously don't agree with their ideas, but they are the ones able to capture people's hearts. They are the ones who have all of the women, so they are obviously doing something right. We can learn from their storytelling. We can learn from their emotionally compelling messaging. And since socialists are masters at disguising their ideas as being compassionate and humane and morally right, then we as libertarians have to become masters at showing the morality and humanity of free market capitalism. Now, I want to clarify on something. When I talk about having empathy, I'm not saying to water down our message. And I'm also not saying don't offend people. But what I am saying is that there is a time and a place for everything. There is a time to fight and get in arguments with people. But there is also a time to have compassionate conversations with people, to understand where they are coming from, to understand their situations, and to meet them where they're at. We have to show them that we care about the things that they care about and help them little by little see why more liberty is the answer, not more government. We have to show them that we are on their side and we are not here to fight them. We are here to fight for them. Now, we can't talk about libertarianism without talking about ownership and responsibility. We have to take ownership and responsibility over the fact that we are not appealing to women today, that the majority of women are on the left today. We have some role in that, but we can't effectively address this if we don't take ownership of it first. Now, my third point to you guys today in talking about our role is to remember what we are fighting for. Because it's not against the people who are fed to believe these lies. And it's also not against each other when we have differing libertarian views and perspectives. I've seen so many libertarians get so caught up in the academics or economics or political jargon in our own inner battles that we can become inwardly focused, that we completely lose sight of the reason why these ideas are so important to begin with. Because of this, we are losing the opportunity to connect and teach other human beings. I want us to remember the real enemy here, because I, like many of you in this fight today, I am fighting because of the millions of people dead because of socialism. I am fighting because people are starving in Venezuela right now. They are fleeing their country for a taste of freedom. I am fighting because these ideas are costing people their lives. I am fighting because the fight against socialism is life or death. If you want to get more millennials like me and more Gen Zers to understand our ideas, you have to get them to connect with this. Now, we have a slogan at Lola, and that slogan is that women are the best ambassadors of liberty. Now, this slogan isn't based on sexism. It's actually based on research. Now, research shows us, and I know all of you here are going to be extremely shocked at what I'm about to say, but research shows us that libertarian women tend to be more empathetic than libertarian men. And that when you have more voices of empathy teaching libertarian ideas, you're able to reach new audiences. Then you're able to reach conservatives, liberals, independents, etc. Then you're able to fight back against the popular normative way of thinking today. In other words, women are key to reaching new audiences with the ideas of liberty. And we are seeing proof of this today at Lola. We are seeing our chapters for the first time report that half of their membership are coming to the ideas of liberty for the first time through Lola, through libertarian women. Now, I share this with you all to encourage you that there is hope. There is good news for us. And the next time you have someone ask you, how do we get new women into these ideas? Please remember, and please help me teach them, that first, we have to change the culture for women within, the women who already associate with these ideas. And secondly, if we want to address the fact that women are attracted to socialist ideas, we have to use empathy and compassion to pull new women in. Now, I want to leave you guys off on something I hear in the liberty movement all the time, and that is the most important thing is to get the ideas of liberty out there. Just get the ideas out there. But I would argue that this is only halfway true. We have a better chance at changing a person's mind if you're able to get to their heart first. This is how we can get new women, new people into the ideas of liberty today.